The vast darkness of space stretched endlessly around Lieutenant Hyun Park's aging reconnaissance shuttle. His fingers danced across worn control panels, scanning frequencies that most would have long abandoned as useless. Most pilots would have returned to base, but Hyun was different. A faint signal flickered on his secondary monitor. Most would have dismissed it as cosmic interference, but something in Hyun's gut told him this was different. He adjusted the scanning parameters, narrowing the frequency range. His eyes locked on the flickering data points. The shuttle's old sensors began to detect something unusual. Fragments of a ship, scattered debris, and a weak energy signature that seemed to pulse with desperate regularity. Hyun leaned forward, his breath catching in his throat. This was no ordinary space wreckage. He maneuvered the shuttle carefully, using minimal thrust to avoid disturbing the delicate field of debris. The ship's computer struggled to analyze the fragments, its aging processors working overtime. Hyun could see bits of metal, strange crystalline structures, and what looked like advanced technological components, unlike anything in human databases. Then he saw her. Suspended in a failing life support pod, an alien female drifted among the wreckage. Her skin had a soft bluish-silver tone, different from any human complexion. Intricate markings covered her exposed skin. Tattoos, or perhaps some kind of biological identification that spoke of importance. Her breathing was shallow, her multiple chest cavities rising and falling in an alien rhythm that would have seemed impossible to most observers. Hyun knew he had minutes, perhaps less. The life support pod was failing, its emergency systems flickering between active and complete shutdown. Most pilots would have calculated the risk, logged the coordinates, and called for a specialized rescue team. But Hyun was not most pilots. He reached for his emergency medical kit, his hands moving with a practiced calm that belied the incredible situation. The shuttle's airlock would require a complex decontamination sequence, but time was not a luxury he had. With a series of quick commands, he overrode standard protocols. The alien's pod was unlike anything he had ever seen. Multiple layers of protection, advanced sealing mechanisms that would have challenged the most sophisticated Earth technology. But Hyun had spent years in special reconnaissance, dealing with unexpected situations. He noticed her royal markings first, subtle geometric patterns that indicated high status among her species. This was no ordinary passenger. This was someone important, someone whose life meant more than a simple rescue mission. The pod's systems were failing. Hyun could see her vital signs dropping. Her multiple hearts were struggling, each beat becoming weaker. Most would have given up, would have considered the biological differences too complex to manage. But Hyun Park was not most people. He began to work, using a combination of standard medical training and pure instinct. The medical kit was designed for humans, but he adapted quickly. A pressure seal here, a modified oxygen transfer there. Each movement was calculated, precise, driven by a determination that went beyond standard rescue protocols. The alien's eyes flickered open momentarily. They were not like human eyes. Multiple pupils, a complexity that suggested a visual perception far beyond human understanding. For a brief moment, their gazes met. In that instant, something passed between them. A recognition, a promise of survival. Outside the shuttle, space remained cold and indifferent. Debris continued to float, silent witnesses to a rescue that defied all probability. Hyun worked, his hands steady, his mind focused on a single objective, keeping this unknown alien alive. He didn't know her name. He didn't know her species or her purpose. But in that moment, none of that mattered. There was a life to save, and he was the only one who could do it. The shuttle's systems hummed with an intensity that matched Hyun's determination. Something extraordinary was happening, something that would change everything. Though he couldn't possibly know that yet. The alien female's breathing was ragged and unstable. Hyun knew he had limited time to stabilize her condition. Her biology was completely different from human physiology. Multiple organ systems, complex respiratory structures, and a biochemical makeup that defied standard medical understanding. He laid her carefully on the shuttle's medical examination table. The surface automatically adjusted, sensing the unusual body structure. Her skin had a soft metallic sheen, almost like living silver, with intricate network of delicate lines that pulsed with internal energy. Hyun's medical training had prepared him for emergency situations, but nothing could have readied him for this. He started by analyzing her vital signs using the shuttle's limited scanning equipment. Her multiple hearts, 3, he counted, were beating at different rhythms, struggling to maintain basic life functions. The medical kit contained standard human intervention tools. Most would have considered them useless. But Hyun was not most people. He understood adaptation was the key to survival. He noticed strange breathing tubes near her neck region. They were not lungs like human lungs, but complex respiratory structures that seemed to exchange oxygen through a method completely alien to human understanding. Her body temperature was significantly lower than human normal, almost hypothermic by Earth standards. Improvisation became his primary strategy. He used the medical kit's universal antiseptic, carefully applying it to visible wound areas. The alien's skin reacted differently. Instead of turning red, it shifted color, becoming a deeper shade of silver blue. Her eyes flickered open momentarily. They were not like human eyes, multiple pupils that seemed to capture light from different angles, suggesting a visual perception far beyond human capability. For a brief moment, their gazes connected. Something unspoken passed between them, a mutual understanding of survival. Hyun noticed her external suit had complex technological components. Carefully, he began removing damaged sections, revealing more of her unique biological structure. Her skin had natural protective layers, almost like living armor that responded to environmental changes. He discovered a critical issue. Her body was experiencing severe cellular breakdown. Normal human medical techniques would not work. He would need to think differently, use unconventional methods. Drawing from his specialized training, Hyun started creating a makeshift stabilization protocol. He used the shuttle's limited medical synthesizer, adjusting its parameters to match her unique biochemical signature. Each adjustment was a calculated risk, a dance between scientific knowledge and pure intuition. Her breathing started to stabilize. The multiple heart structures began synchronizing, finding a rhythm that suggested recovery was possible. Hyun watched carefully, making minute adjustments to the medical systems. Hours passed. The shuttle's interior remained silent except for the soft beeping of medical equipment and the alien's controlled breathing. Hyun didn't sleep, maintaining constant vigilance. Every few minutes, he would check her vital signs, making careful notes on the shuttle's communication pad. As time progressed, her body began showing remarkable recovery capabilities. Wounds that would have been fatal to a human were slowly healing. Her cellular regeneration was far more advanced than any human medical technology could achieve. Hyun realized he was witnessing something extraordinary. This was not just a rescue. This was a potential first contact scenario. The alien female represented something far beyond a simple medical challenge. She was a living representation of a civilization completely unknown to humanity. Her royal markings became more visible as she stabilized. Geometric patterns that seemed to tell a story, indicating her significant status among her species. Hyun wondered about her background, her journey, the events that led to her being discovered in such a damaged state. The shuttle continued its silent journey through the vast emptiness of space. Outside, stars moved slowly in different witnesses to this unexpected rescue unfolding within the small human vessel. Hyun Park had saved a life, but he couldn't possibly know how this single act would change everything. The first warning came as a distant electronic pulse. Hyun's shuttle sensors flickered, detecting massive energy signatures approaching from multiple directions. The Kron Imperial fleet had found them. Massive warships emerged from hyperspace, their metallic structures dwarfing Hyun's small reconnaissance vessel. Each ship was kilometers long, with weapon systems that could obliterate entire planetary regions. Against such technology, A human shuttle was less than insignificant. It was practically invisible. The alien female, Aria, was still recovering. Her eyes remained closed, but her breathing had stabilized. Hyun knew moving her could compromise her delicate condition. He would have to fight and protect her simultaneously. His shuttle systems were basic, old, practically prehistoric compared to the advanced technology surrounding them. Most pilots would have surrendered immediately, but Hyun understood something fundamental about survival. Unpredictability was a weapon. He began immediate evasive maneuvers. The shuttle's old engines screamed in protest, pushing beyond their design parameters. Hyun used the asteroid field as his primary defense, weaving between massive rocky structures with a precision that seemed impossible. The alien warships fired precision energy weapons. Each blast could vaporize a small moon. But Hyun was never where they expected him to be. He used the asteroids as shields, understanding their movement patterns better than the alien targeting systems. One particularly large asteroid became his temporary sanctuary. He cut all external power, letting the massive rock's electromagnetic interference mask his vessel's signature. The warships scanned systematically, their technological superiority suddenly neutralized by simple space geology. Aria stirred slightly. Her multiple eyes flickered, sensing the intense electromagnetic disturbances around them. She was healing, but still weak. Hyun kept one hand on the navigation controls, the other ensuring her medical stabilization. The pursuit continued for hours. Hyun's understanding of space navigation, combined with his military training, turned the chase into a complex game of strategic movement. He wasn't just evading. He was actively confusing the alien fleet's tracking systems. Weapon signatures continued to illuminate the dark space. Energy beams cut through asteroid fields, attempting to track the small human vessel. But Hyun remained one step ahead, understanding that predictability meant destruction. His shuttle's computer was calculating escape routes, analyzing potential hyperspace jump coordinates. Limited resources meant every decision could mean life or death. For him, for Aria, for the unexpected mission he had unknowingly begun. The alien fleet's communication channels buzzed with frustration. Their technological superiority was being challenged by a single human pilot in an outdated reconnaissance shuttle. It was impossible, and yet, it was happening. Han's eyes remained focused. Sweat formed on his forehead, but his hands remained steady. Years of special forces training had prepared him for high-pressure situations. This was just another mission, another challenge to overcome. Aria's royal markings began to glow softly. Something about her presence seemed to subtly interfere with the alien fleet's tracking systems. Hyun noticed small fluctuations in the pursuing ship's energy signatures whenever she moved. Hours turned into a continuous dance of survival. Asteroid fields, energy weapon discharges, precise navigation, the human shuttle becoming a ghost among space rocks, evading the most technologically advanced military force in the known galaxy. The Kron Imperial Fleet's commander would later describe this pursuit as the most humiliating moment in galactic military history. A single human shuttle, with prehistoric technology, had survived against overwhelming odds. As the final asteroid field approached, Hyun knew their survival was about to be decided. One wrong move would mean total destruction. One miscalculation would end everything. But Hyun Park was not most pilots, and this was not going to be their final journey. The shuttle's old engines prepared for one final desperate maneuver. The Galactic communication network erupted with unprecedented tension. News of a primitive human's extraordinary escape from the Kron Imperial Fleet spread like wildfire across thousands of star systems. In the central command chamber of the Imperial throne, absolute silence descended. Emperor Kraltak watched the recorded pursuit footage with growing disbelief. His massive crystalline throne hummed with suppressed anger. One human, a single insignificant vessel had embarrassed the most technologically advanced military force in known existence. Aria's rescue became more than a simple incident. It was a diplomatic earthquake that threatened established galactic power structures. Humans were not supposed to be capable of such resistance. They were categorized as a primitive species, barely understanding interstellar travel. Communication channels between Earth and the Kron Empire became charged with unprecedented complexity. Diplomatic protocols, carefully maintained for centuries, suddenly felt fragile and inadequate. The human pilot, Hyun Park, had become an unexpected symbol. His actions challenged everything the galactic community understood about technological superiority. Military strategists across multiple civilizations began analyzing every moment of the pursuit, searching for explanations. Arya remained aboard Hyun's shuttle, her recovery continuing. Her multiple heart structures were stabilizing, her unique biological systems adapting to the human medical interventions. She watched Hyun with a growing sense of curiosity that transcended her royal training. Earth's government received sudden, unexpected diplomatic communications. The Kron Empire demanded explanations. They wanted Hyun Park. They wanted the technology that allowed such an impossible escape. But Earth's response was calculated and calm. Hyun's Special Forces background became suddenly relevant. His personnel files, previously buried in classified archives, now became subjects of intense galactic scrutiny. Every training record, every mission detail was examined with microscopic precision. The pursuit had revealed something fundamental. Humans possessed an adaptability that defied technological categorization. Improvisation, strategic thinking, a willingness to challenge impossible odds. These were not just military skills. They were survival strategies that threatened established galactic hierarchies. Emperor Kraltak's advisors suggested multiple response strategies: military intervention, diplomatic pressure, economic sanctions, but each option seemed increasingly problematic. The human pilot had exposed vulnerabilities in their most advanced tracking and weapon systems. Arya's perspective began to shift. Her royal conditioning had always taught her that humans were a lower-tier species, primitive, unworthy of serious consideration. But her personal experience was dramatically different. The human who rescued her demonstrated qualities that challenged her entire worldview. Communication attempts between the shuttle and various galactic authorities became a complex dance of diplomatic maneuvering. Hyun responded with a calm that frustrated Imperial communication specialists. He was neither aggressive nor submissive, a response they could not easily categorize. The shuttle's limited communication systems became an unexpected diplomatic weapon. Each transmission revealed just enough information to intrigue, but never enough to provide complete clarity. Hyun understood information control at a fundamental level. Earth's diplomatic corps recognized the potential significance immediately. This was not just a rescue mission. This was a first contact scenario that could reshape galactic political understanding. Every word, every transmission was carefully calculated. Emperor Kraltak realized something profound was happening. The human was not just evading capture. He was actively challenging the established galactic power structure. By surviving, by protecting the royal heir, he had created a diplomatic scenario with massive implications. Arya's royal status added another layer of complexity. Her survival meant more than a personal rescue. It represented a potential bridge between human civilization and the vast, complex galactic community. As diplomatic tensions escalated, one thing became clear: nothing would remain the same. The pursuit had changed everything. A single human pilot had done what entire military campaigns could not. He had made the galaxy reconsider its understanding of humanity's potential. The shuttle continued its journey, carrying its unexpected passengers towards an unknown destination. Hyun Park remained focused, unaware that he was writing a new chapter in galactic history. The final confrontation arrived without warning. 3 massive Kron Imperial warships emerged from hyperspace, surrounding Hyun's small shuttle with calculated precision. Their weapon systems charged, creating a web of destructive potential that could obliterate anything within milliseconds. Hyun Park remained calm. Arya watched him with a mixture of curiosity and growing respect. Her royal training had prepared her for many scenarios, but nothing compared to witnessing human determination up close. The shuttle systems were beyond outdated. Most would consider them useless against such advanced technology. But Hyun saw opportunity where others saw certain destruction. He began manipulating the ship's limited systems, creating a complex interference pattern that confused the alien targeting computers. Imperial communication channels erupted with frustration. Commander Zrel, leading the pursuit, could not comprehend how a single human vessel continued to challenge their technological superiority. Each attempt to lock weapons failed in increasingly spectacular ways. Hyun used the asteroid field as his primary defense. He understood space movement in a way that defied conventional military tactics. Where alien computers calculated straight lines, he moved in unpredictable curves. Where technology suggested surrender, he found survival paths. Aria's unique biological structure began to interact with the shuttle systems in unexpected ways. Her royal genetic markers created subtle energy disruptions that interfered with the Imperial fleet's advanced tracking technologies. What seemed like impossible luck was actually a complex biological interaction neither humans nor Kron understood. The battle became more than a pursuit. It transformed into a statement about adaptability, about the unpredictable nature of survival. Hyun's movements were not just evasive. They were a strategic dance that exposed fundamental weaknesses in the Kron military approach. Imperial weapon systems, designed for precise destruction, found themselves consistently outsmarted. Each energy blast missed by increasingly smaller margins. Commander Zrel's reputation began crumbling with every failed attack. Hyun's communication remained calm. Short, precise transmissions that revealed nothing but suggested everything. He was playing a psychological game as much as a physical battle. The Imperial fleet was no longer hunting. They were reacting. Aria understood something profound was happening. This was not just about her rescue. This was a demonstration of human potential that would reshape galactic understanding. Her royal perspective began to shift, seeing humans not as primitive beings, but as extraordinary survivors. The final moment came unexpectedly. Using a complex series of maneuvers that would be studied by military academies for generations, Hyun managed to position his shuttle directly between two Imperial warships. Their own weapon systems, unable to distinguish friend from target, created a moment of critical vulnerability. One precise energy burst from Hyun's shuttle, more a signal than a weapon, exposed a critical weakness in the Imperial fleet's defensive systems. Millions of years of technological advancement suddenly looked fragile against human ingenuity. Commander Zrel's communication became desperate. The pursuit was no longer about recovering the royal heir. It had become a matter of galactic pride, of maintaining the established power structure that had existed for millennia. But Hyun Park had already won, not through violence, not through superior technology, but through an understanding of survival that transcended traditional military thinking. The Imperial fleet withdrew, not in defeat, but in a recognition that something fundamental had changed. Humans were no longer a species to be categorized or dismissed. They were a potential that could not be easily defined or controlled. Aria looked at Hyun with a newfound respect. Her multiple eyes reflected a complex understanding that went beyond her royal training. This human had not just rescued her. He had challenged an entire galactic perception. As the last Imperial warship disappeared, Hyun's shuttle continued its journey. No dramatic celebration, no grand speeches, just a quiet continuation of a mission that had become far more than a simple rescue. The galaxy would never be the same.